My sister took my childhood savings to buy her boyfriend a car, so I disappeared from her life forever, and she still wonders why I never forgave her. I'm a 26-year-old guy, and for as long as I can remember, I've been saving. It started small birthday cards with a few bills tucked inside. The occasional $20 from my grandmother. The money I earned mowing lawns in the summer heat or stacking shelves at the corner store after school. While other kids blew their cash on sneakers or video games, I held on to mine. I told myself one day it would be my ticket out college, maybe a beat-up car. Maybe even just a place of my own where no one could tell me I was the problem. My parents always said, "Don't worry, we'll keep it safe. We'll put it in the family account until you're ready to use it." And I believed them. I wanted to believe them. The thought of my hard-earned money locked away for me gave me comfort, like no matter how badly I was treated at home, at least my future was mine. See, I wasn't the golden child. That title belonged to my sister. She could break curfew, fail a class, or scream at my parents and somehow still be just going through a phase. Meanwhile, if I so much as left a dish in the sink, I was lazy or ungrateful. I was the scapegoat, and deep down I knew it. But I figured money was neutral. It didn't care who mom loved more, or who dad bragged about to relatives. Sometimes I'd sit in my room, headphones in, picturing the day I could finally walk out the door with that money in my pocket. Freedom smelled like fresh air and gasoline. My own car, my own keys, no more waiting on anyone else. That account wasn't just numbers to me. It was my way out. What I didn't know was that the way out had already been stolen. My sister was the star of the family, the one who could do no wrong. If she came home with a failing grade, my parents said, "She's just stressed. She'll do better next time." If I brought home a B instead of an A, it was, "Why can't you apply yourself like your sister?" The double standard wasn't subtle, it was carved into the walls of our house. She had this way about her. Big smile, sweet voice, the kind of charm that made people want to believe her. She could spin a lie so smooth, you'd thank her for telling it. I don't think my parents even realized how much they bent around her. If she needed money, they found it. If she got in trouble, they bailed her out. And me, I was the difficult one, the one they warned her not to turn into. Still, she was my sister. I'd sit with her on late nights when she cried over some drama with her friends. I'd share my snacks when she'd come home whining that she was starving. I wanted to believe that beneath all the favoritism and manipulation, she cared about me too. That no matter how different our roles were in the family, we'd still be siblings at the end of the day. But the truth is, the pedestal they put her on wasn't just high, was untouchable. She learned early that she could get away with anything. And that power grew every year, shaping her into someone I barely recognized. I didn't know it yet, but soon, someone else was about to climb up onto that pedestal with her. Someone who would change everything. She was 16 when he showed up, a guy a few years older, with slick hair, loud laughter, and a car that barely ran but still impressed her. He had that kind of cheap charisma that fools adults into thinking he's mature and kids into thinking he's cool. From the first night he walked through our door, he had my parents eating out of his hand. "Ma'am, your cooking is the best I've ever had, sir. You've raised such an amazing daughter." My parents beamed like he was already there. Son-in-law. I wasn't fooled. I saw how he whispered in her ear, convincing her to skip homework, to blow off curfew, to borrow money she didn't have. He'd lean back in our kitchen chair with that smug grin while she begged my mom for $20 for gas, only to watch him pocket it later. And when I tried to call it out, my parents shut me down. "Don't be jealous," my mom snapped once. "You could learn a thing or two from him." Meanwhile, my sister was changing. She stopped caring about school. She started talking back more, demanding things like she was owed them. And every time I thought she'd hit a wall, he was there to lift her higher, whispering in her ear like a parasite feeding off her rebellion. I'd sit in my room, trying to drown out their laughter drifting through the house, but it'd nod at me. Something about him felt off, like he was using her for what little she had, and dragging her further down with him. I thought the damage would be hers to carry, her grades, her reputation, her choices. I didn't realize yet that he was already draining me too. It started with little comments at dinner. My sister sighing dramatically, saying, if only we had a car that actually worked, life would be so much easier. Her boyfriend nodding, adding, yeah, we just need something reliable so we can get around. Maybe even something decent, you know? At first, I rolled my eyes. He could barely hold down a part-time job, and she spent more time on her phone than at work. A car wasn't a necessity, was a fantasy. But then I started noticing the whispers. My parents huddled together in the kitchen when they thought I was asleep. My mom's voice hushed. How would we even afford it? Followed by my dad's long sigh. My sister's voice grew louder each week, pleading, bargaining, acting like not having a car was ruining her future. I thought it was ridiculous. My parents had always been cautious with money. If I asked for a new pair of shoes, they reminded me to be grateful for the ones I had. So I figured there was no way they'd give in to this nonsense. At most, they'd tell her to save her allowance or get another job. But then one evening, I caught the tail end of a conversation. My sister's boyfriend saying, she deserves it. You don't want to hold her back, do you? And my dad's quiet, resigned. We'll figure something out. The hair on the back of my neck stood up. Something wasn't right. Why did it sound like a decision had already been made? I tried to shake it off, telling myself my parents would never actually cross that line. But deep down, I felt a pit in my stomach. Because I didn't know it yet, but the choice had already been made behind my back. A week later, something in me wouldn't sit still. I had this gut feeling, this heaviness pressing on my chest. So I went to the bank to check my account. I remember standing there under the harsh fluorescent lights, the teller typing my info in. The little pause before she read off the balance, my heart dropped. It was almost empty, all those years of saving. Every sweaty afternoon mowing lawns, every dollar stuffed in a birthday card. Every late-night shift stacking shelves, it was gone. Just like that, I stumbled out of the bank like I'd been punched. My hands were shaking as I shoved the slip into my pocket. I barely made it home before slamming the door open and shouting, "Where's my money?" My parents froze in the living room. My mom's eyes darted to my dad, and that told me everything. "We loaned it," my dad finally muttered, like it was no big deal. "To help your sister get a car. It's still family money. You'll get it back." My chest burned. "Loaned it? That wasn't your money to give." My mom raised her voice, sharp and dismissive. "Don't be dramatic. Your sister needed it more. Families support each other." I laughed an ugly, broken laugh because what else could I do? That was my entire childhood wiped away for her boyfriend's joyrides. My escape fund turned into their accessory. I stared at my sister, who sat there smug, keys dangling from her fingers like a trophy. That's when the betrayal really hit me. It wasn't just about the money. It was about trust, every promise they made to keep it safe. Every ounce of belief I had that at least one thing in my life was mine, and now it was gone. I thought maybe if I yelled loud enough, they'd finally hear me. So I confronted them again the next morning, this time calmer, demanding they return my savings. But instead of remorse, all I got was gaslighting. "You're overreacting," my mom snapped, waving me off like a child. "It's just money." "You'll earn more," my dad chimed in, his tone sharp. "Your sister needed it more. She's starting her life. Why can't you just be happy for her?" Happy for her. She was spinning the car keys around her finger, smirking like she'd won some game. My boyfriend says it's the nicest thing anyone's ever done for me, she bragged. Then, with a little laugh, she added, "Guess that makes you the best brother ever, huh?" I could feel my blood boiling, but every word I said was twisted back at me. My parents accused me of being selfish, ungrateful, jealous. "Stop making everything about you," my mom scolded. "Families help each other. Why can't you understand that?" In that moment, something clicked. This wasn't just betrayal, it was a full rewrite of the story. Somehow, I was the villain. My anger, my pain, my loss, it was being weaponized against me. I wasn't the victim of theft in their eyes. I was the selfish sibling, the jealous son, the ungrateful child. And my sister. She wasn't the thief. She was the princess they were defending at all costs. I realized then that it was never about money. It was about control and about the role they wanted me to play in this family. And I wasn't sure how much longer I could play it after that fight. Something inside me shut off. I stopped trying to argue, stopped trying to explain. What was the point? They weren't ever going to see me as anything but selfish. So I pulled back. I buried myself in extra shifts, stayed late at work, and spent as little time at home as possible. When I was there, I kept my head down, headphones in, answering in one-word sentences. Meanwhile, my sister paraded that car like it was a crown. She posted selfies behind the wheel, videos of her and her boyfriend cruising around town. Captions like, "Blessed to have the best family ever." I'd scroll past it, each post digging the knife a little deeper. The worst was in person. She'd jingle the keys loud enough for me to hear, toss them on the counter, lean back with that smug grin. "Want me to give you a ride sometime?" she asked one night, her voice dripping with mockery. "It's the least I can do since you basically bought it for me." Something in me cracked. I didn't scream. I didn't hit her. I didn't even reply. I just stared at her until she got uncomfortable and walked away. That was the moment I knew. I couldn't stay in this house, in this role, in this cycle. They had taken my money, my trust, and now they wanted to strip me of my dignity too. I wasn't going to give them that. That night, lying awake in the dark, I made a decision. I was done. Once I made the decision, everything I did after that was quiet, calculated. I picked up every extra shift I could, stashing away whatever scraps of money I had left. I stopped wasting time arguing with my parents or reacting to my sister's digs. To them, it probably looked like I was finally settling down. In reality, I was planning my escape. I applied for colleges and jobs in another city, sending applications late at night when everyone else was asleep. Each acceptance email felt like a lifeline, proof that there was a world beyond this suffocating house. I didn't announce it, didn't ask permission, didn't give them the satisfaction of a big fight. One morning, I just packed what I could fit in 2 duffel bags and left. No dramatic goodbye, no slammed doors. Just silence. I blocked their numbers before I even hit the highway. No more guilt-tripping calls. No more fake apologies. No more being told I should be grateful for scraps. For the first time in my life, I could breathe. My apartment was tiny, just 1 bedroom with creaky floors and a drafty window, but it was mine. Every decision I made inside those walls was my own. Freedom was bittersweet. The loneliness hit me some nights sitting on the floor with takeout and no one to talk to. But even then, it was better than the constant betrayal I'd left behind. For the first time, my future was in my hands. But running doesn't mean they stopped chasing at first. The silence was perfect. My phone didn't buzz with accusations or orders, just the occasional spam text or work email. But it didn't take long before the flood started. My sister was the first. Long paragraphs, then short demands, then strings of missed calls at 2 a.m. "You're being dramatic. You're tearing this family apart." Then the flip. "I'm sorry, okay?" Just come home. I miss you. The apologies felt hollow, typed out between selfies in the car I paid for. When I didn't respond, she got meaner. You'll regret this when Mom and Dad are gone. You're pathetic for running away. Each message felt like she was pulling on a rope I'd already cut loose. Then my parents tried their hand. Letters in the mail, thin envelopes stuffed with guilt. Family unity is all that matters. Your sister needs you. We raised you better than this. It wasn't love, it was obligation dressed up as concern. Even friends reached out, parroting the same lines. She's your sister. Just let it go. It's only money. They didn't understand that it wasn't about the cash, it was about trust. Respect, survival. Every ignored call, every unopened message. Every envelope tossed into the trash hardened something inside me. I was alone, yes. Some nights, the quiet felt like a punishment. But that silence was mine. It belonged to me, and peace, no matter how isolating, was worth the price. I didn't have to be there to watch the collapse. I heard it in pieces. Little bits of gossip that trickled down from relatives and old neighbors. At first, it was whispers. Her boyfriend had been seen with someone else. Then it was confirmation. He'd left her. Not just left, but left her broke. Saddled with payments on a car that was already starting to break down. The engine kept failing. The bills piled up. And who stepped in? My parents, of course. They emptied savings, borrowed money, stretched themselves thin trying to keep her afloat. The same people who told me to stop being dramatic about losing everything were now drowning because of her mistakes. I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel a flicker of satisfaction. Bitter, sharp satisfaction. The car she flaunted, the boyfriend she worshipped, they both betrayed her the way she betrayed me. But underneath that, I felt something heavier. Grief. Grief that my family was unraveling. That the people who were supposed to protect me kept choosing the one who destroyed us instead. Then came the twist. A relative slipped and told me, your parents keep saying maybe you'll come back. Maybe you'll help fix things. I laughed out loud when I heard it. After everything they took from me, after rewriting me as the villain, they still saw me as the backup plan, the safety net. But that's the thing. I wasn't their scapegoat anymore. I wasn't their savior either. They'd made their choice when they gave my life savings away, and I had made mine when I walked out the door. Disappearing wasn't easy, but it was the only thing that saved me. At first, the silence felt suffocating, empty nights in that little apartment. Eating ramen alone, wondering if I'd made a mistake. But then the quiet started to feel different. It wasn't loneliness anymore. It was peace. I built a new rhythm. I picked up steady work, made a few friends who didn't know me as the family scapegoat, and slowly created a life that was mine. My money went into my own account this time. No family emergencies, no whispered promises of safekeeping. For the first time, I felt like an adult in control of my own future. Every so often, though, she'd try to break through. Long emotional emails would show up in my inbox. Paragraphs about how much she missed me. How she didn't understand why I never forgave her. How family is all that really matters. Sometimes she'd try guilt. Sometimes nostalgia. Sometimes a pathetic attempt at humor. Like we could just laugh about it all. I never replied. Because here's what I finally learned. Forgiveness doesn't mean handing someone the keys to your life again. It doesn't mean pretending the betrayal didn't happen. Forgiveness is something I gave myself so I could breathe without anger, so I could sleep without replaying every fight in my head. She wanted access, but closure isn't an invitation back. It's a locked door, and I never once felt the urge to open it. People always assume betrayal ends with some grand revenge story, showdown. A confession, a dramatic scene where the guilty fall to their knees and beg for forgiveness. My ending wasn't like that. There was no explosive moment where I finally won. Instead, the victory was quieter, sharper. It was me choosing not to play their scapegoat anymore. I stopped waiting for apologies that would never come. I stopped craving recognition from parents who had already chosen their favorite. And I stopped letting my sister's guilt-stained words creep into my life. The only way I healed was by drawing a line so permanent, so unshakable, that no amount of begging or manipulation could cross it. And strangely, that boundary gave me more peace than revenge ever could. My sister still doesn't understand. She still asks why I never forgave her, why I can't just move on, but forgiveness, in her mind, means giving her another chance to use me. That's not forgiveness. That's self-betrayal. The truth is simple. Actions have consequences. She stole my savings, my trust, my years of sacrifice. She thought I'd eventually cave because I always did when we were kids. But this time, I didn't. Now I live my own life, one I built from the ground up, without her, without them. I wake up every day knowing my choices are mine. My money is mine. My peace is mine. She took my savings. But she didn't take my future. That's mine, and she'll never ride in it.